Welcome to the Great Girlfriends podcast, where we discuss life, love, laughter, and everything in between. I am your host, Brandis Daniel.
I'm your co-host, Sybil Amuti, and we've got a guest great girlfriend with us. Let's welcome Miss Mahisha Dellinger.
Hi.
Hi, Mahisha. Hello. How are you?
Oh,
Good.
absolutely. We're thawing out. How are you? You're in the South. Give us some warm news.
I'm in Dallas. Yeah, it's sunny and bright and not so cold, but I'm having a great time. I'm actually heading your way soon.
Oh,
my
very
goodness. Wear your warmest coat. Wear your biggest fur. Like, just throw it all on.
Okay.
Because our temps
Okay.
have dropped. Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, I'm ready."
It's gotten real, Mahisha. It's nice and cold out here. We're two Southern girls, and I never adjust to this. I'm every winter.
Every year, every winter. Yeah.
We're so excited to have you on. We're so excited. So much to hear about, Mahisha, because you have such a long history in the beauty industry and as an entrepreneur. So, great girlfriends, get ready to learn a lot about Mahisha, who is an entrepreneur, author, and TV host, the CEO and founder of Curls, which is a natural hair care brand founded in 2002. And your book, Against All Odds, from the projects to the from the projects to the penthouse. I can't wait.
I love it. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Look, I'm interrupting, but is this book out?
Well, it was released years ago, and I actually removed it from circulation to go with another publisher. So I'm actually going to update it and come back with more business tips inside. But yes, it was on Amazon, and we had some pretty nice sales, but we wanted to shift over to a new publishing company.
Got it. Okay.
And then there's Mind Your Business with Mahisha, which was on OWN. Kudos, salute to an amazing show.
Thank you. That was my fifth child doing that. It was a sacrifice, a labor of love, but it was worth it in helping other women of color, get to their goals, because we don't usually have a lot of, access and information that we need to do so. So I really did feel blessed to be able to do so.
And then, look, I can keep going. And then there's the Black Girls Making Millions Academy. And Mahisha's also a wife and a mother of 4. Mahisha.
Right. I'm tired.
This episode should be about self-care. I know.
It's tired. I am too. Shoot.
Oh my goodness. No,
I know.
Seriously, Mahisha, that's an overwhelmingly amazing resume, and any woman, who's doing one thing understands that for you to carry or wear multiple hats like that means that you have learned and found your mission, and you are committed to it, and you are focused, and also on, also doing a lot of this out of labor of love. So we'd love to know. I actually want to start from the project to the penthouse. Can you give us a bit of your backstory and how all of this even evolved for you?
Sure. So how far you want me to go back? Just about the evolution of Curls?
Well, you can give us, early beginnings. I mean, anything that kind of, because that segue, the title of your prior book, that segue just kind of gives us depth into the fact that you've driven yourself quite far from where you started. So we'd love to know how that evolved for you.
Absolutely.
We used to do this thing when we started a podcast called, there was once a young girl named Mahisha, and you take it from here.
Okay. I love it. There was one girl named Mahisha who was born on the wrong side of the railroad tracks. She had aspirations to live above and beyond where she currently lived, and she knew she had the courage to do so. So she struck out and decided to do what everyone else in her family didn't do, which was, number one, finish her education. I was born in Meadowview, which AKA also known as Danger Island, in South Sacramento, California, which was early 80s. The crack cocaine epidemic hit hard. So we had a lot of gang violence, crack addicts. My brother was in a gang. I got our house shot up multiple times from the rivaling Meadowview Crips. He was a Meadowview Blood. Had lots of dysfunction. It was a scary place to grow up. You know, if you get someplace called a neighborhood is dubbed Danger Island for a reason. And so I saw a lot. And a lot of my friends were pregnant by 15. Some of their brothers didn't make it to see 18. And it just wasn't a place of where your dreams flourished. It was really either, you know, pregnant, have babies, welfare, sell drugs, to have fast money. It just wasn't a place where people dreamed. And so I decided early on that I had a dream. I wanted to really do more. I didn't like the way I lived. And so I finished high school, and then I went on to college and went into corporate America and had an amazing stint until I ran into my racist manager, who I had several great managers. I'll preface that by saying I had several great ones that really did feed into me. But I had one bad apple, and that actually ruined it for me. And I decided at that moment I would never work for anyone else again, because I worked my behind off really trying to rise the corporate ladder. My goal was not to be an entrepreneur. I was actually going to retire from Intel. I was going to rise that corporate ladder. I was going to take charge of my destiny and my career and really make moves. And when I saw that was being hindered merely because of the color of my skin, I knew that I was out of control. I had no control in how he felt about me. I had zero control about how he could easily let me go. I had zero control on how Intel decided to deal with it. So I decided to take my control back and do something on my own. And Curls was birthed really, literally on a restaurant napkin over we're in San Diego. We're in Santa Barbara celebrating my birthday with my fiance at the time, my now husband. And we just started jotting down ideas, and Curls birthed that weekend. I came back the next Monday to work and started to do my research on the market trends, if there was a need for a product like this for women that wanted to go natural. And I found that there was. And there was a lot of women actually going back to their natural hair, natural tresses, and embracing their natural curl patterns, and were looking for products for their hair. And I realized that, okay, great, it's a great time to strike. And again, this was a while ago, so it was before social media, before you can hire a blogger to write about you and get a buzz going. It really took a lot of grassroots, guerrilla marketing tactics. And it was way before, even before MySpace. And so it was a lot of sampling, engaging with consumers. Oh, there were chat rooms I would promote on, but lots of groundwork that had to get done. And so I went from, online initially 100% to having it in select stores, and then distributors wanting to sell to stores. And then I got that one call from Target. They were looking to revamp their ethnic category, because the buyer, Linda Sullivan, she was actually blonde hair, blue-eyed buyer for ethnic hair. She saw that her sales were going down every year, and she wasn't sure what was going on in the market. So she started to do her research and found that there were a lot of brands out there that were doing great things underground. So she brought 4 of us in 105 stores on an end cap, which is prime real estate, and she gave us a test. And she said, if you guys do well, we'll grow with you. And so we blew out the ballpark, and we all expanded and grew and grew and grew until we went nationwide. And then she kept adding other brands to fill out the space. And so we were one of the 4 pioneering brands that actually created the space. And after that, all the other stores that I called and pitched before that said no were calling me. And so the time shifted and things turned around, but it took a while.
Wow. Don't you just love that when the tides turn and you're like, on the other side of it, able to make your own choices about where you want to position your brand. I think that's so powerful.
Yes, and it was a great story of redemption. And sometimes, you don't get that turnaround, but you just have to wait for it. You don't get that turnaround immediately. You have to really put the work in, and people they're insta famous, instant success. They want everything quick, and that's just not the way it works.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about putting the work in, because we've got a huge audience of women who are innovators with bright ideas. Many of them are splitting time between their, corporate jobs and their passions on the side, and they're trying to figure out when to make their moves And I heard you say a lot about, first you wrote the idea down, then I heard you say a lot about doing your research. What is some of the work that you would describe that went into kind of getting curls into the market, and something that women can take away that are looking to put their ideas in the market?
Well, first you have to start with doing your due diligence. And when I said I did my research, that was really diving into the market data to see if there was a need for this product. Because the one thing you don't want to do is think you have something, you have this golden idea, and it doesn't stick. You can lose your shirt literally launching a business that doesn't work. So I'm very conservative with my money, and so I didn't want to be in a position I couldn't, I had a child at the time. I could not, afford to fail. So I wanted to make sure that what I thought made sense was actually going to be a viable business. So you have to dig in, get the data, understand the customer, understand your competition, understand your costs, understand what your profit margins are. Because if you can sell 1,000,000 units, but if your margins are not right, you will not make it. So you have to make sure you have a good solid accounting, solid baseline knowledge. You don't have to be an expert, but definitely a solid baseline, knowledge bank to understand that, to make sure you keep your money that you make, and how to price your product or your service. So those are some of the things that I had to keep in mind.
Mahisha, what I hear is someone who started this business already kind of with a nice foundation of business knowledge, right? And I'm assuming that a lot of that came from your experience at Intel. Is that right? Or would you agree with that or no?
Well, yes, I had a lot of great experience with Intel, but also I majored in business administration with a concentration in marketing. So I did have definitely some experience that helped me.
And the reason I brought that up is because so many of our girlfriends are like, I just want to quit and go. And I think we don't realize, or even some of them are like graduating out of college and saying, you know what, I just want to start my business. And I'm not saying that's the wrong way to do it, but I do think that there is something to be said for having some real life experience and for being able to kind of start a business with already this foundation of knowing kind of how to approach the business arena. I just want the great girlfriends to know that it's okay to work your 9 to 5 and, and start your business and kind of use everything you're learning on your 9 to 5 for your business. Did you start was it like a side hustle, or did you quit altogether and say, I'm going to go full-fledged into curls?
Very good question, because I always tell my mentees that, and this is my recommendation, I didn't have anyone that could sow seeds into the business and invest. So I had to keep a day job. And then this was a side hustle that I knew was going to be the main hustle. So I left Intel because I couldn't work in a day, like an 8 to 5 in the office. I went and started working for Pfizer Pharmaceuticals, so I can actually be out in the field, control my agenda, my day, my timeline. And so they required that we see 8 doctors a day. So what I did was I actually I was able to get 8 by noon. I structured my day where I mapped it out so I didn't lose any time. I was really strategic in who I saw. So I was done by noon and came home and worked on curls the rest of the day, like from 12 to 5. And then once the kids were asleep, then I would go and work some more. And I did that for a while, probably a little bit too long. But that enabled me to put the money back. Every single cent that was made at curls and back into curls.
I love that.
That's a big hiccup right there, Mahisha, because so many people want to live off the side hustle. As soon as the baby's born, you're like, okay, hold on.
You have to give it time to grow.
Yeah, it has to grow, and you have to nurture the infrastructure. And so in terms of building infrastructure and team, Mahisha, how did you source the people that would support and eventually build out a team that can actually carry your vision for you?
Well, it was initially me and my husband, because we were small again. When I turned on that switch that day I launched in April, I had like 8 orders. I was so excited. But, oh, my God, I have 8 orders. And then that to grow. But we did it ourselves initially in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And then I wind up, like, once we started growing, I wound up getting just hiring people in the community. And then it was like one amazing, talented young Asian guy named Paul came to work for me, and he said, and we were in my garage. I have a picture on my Instagram page of me in my garage office and the shelves my husband built for the products. And he came and he worked for me. He said, one day I'm going to be able to go look back and say, I worked for her when she had an office in her garage. And he had so much faith that it would go somewhere. And I was like just struggling, trying to get by. But he was so proud of that. And we circled back later and connected. But we winded up having to get people quickly, because once we had the spurt, I said, Paul, do you have any friends that need jobs? So he brought his whole crew in. So it was a whole crew of people that young, and they were so hardworking and so dedicated to curls. I was so amazed by their dedication to me, because we were in California, hot summer, in a garage. Like, that's not a good place to be. And it was just amazing. It was amazing.
Wow. Oh, I can hear the joy in your voice, like, talking about that time.
I still have a soft spot for that team, because they were just amazing. They were really amazing.
Wow. So, okay, Mahisha, in terms of another thing you mentioned, which is mentorship, which is so valuable. Brandis and I are huge proponents of people having a blueprint and being kind of responsible for allowing other people access to your blueprint so you can grow and succeed. Tell us a little bit about Mahisha's Black Girls Making Millions Academy.
Sure. So after I wrapped my show on OWN, Black Girls Making Millions Mind Your Business with Mahisha, I got a flood of requests for one-on-one mentoring, and I obviously couldn't do that. So much going on. So I wanted to figure out a way how I could bring this show to life. And so I decided to create this opportunity to bring women in and get taught and have a full structured agenda full of workshops, classes, networking, pitch opportunities. And also we had, after all the work, we had great excursions and parties, but really brought together the sisterhood of women in a very structured and formatted way. When I tell you I don't do that CP time, it's like, the first class started at 9. We were like in our seats, and they ended, bell rang. We're in the next class at 10, and and everything was ran like clockwork and very strategic. And I brought all these ladies in with 3 different tracks that they can choose from. It was a startup for brand new business owners that needed help starting their businesses, and then we had the blow up, which is where they were looking to grow their businesses, and then the come up, where they need to pitch for funding. So we had the 3 different tracks. You got to choose which one you want to be in, and each one had their different set of instructors and coursework and engagement, and it was just amazing. And we came together in the evening, and it was just great. And I felt that was so beneficial, because the women got realistic input, realistic feedback, realistic tools. We had Merrill Lynch and B of A there to help with funding, concerns and questions, and lines of credit. So it was just really impactful.
I love it. I love it. That's amazing. And who's been some of your influences or mentors to kind of support your blueprint?
Well, I don't know if you guys remember Proline. It's one of the original OG brands that launched way a long time ago.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so Coma Cottrell. Yes, that grease we see is so Coma Cottrell was the owner of that brand. Well, I actually have worked with him and his wife. So Coma Cottrell's daughter, Renee Brown Cottrell, she actually and her husband are my mentors. They're here in Dallas. They worked with Coma for so many years. She launched a lot of different products under her dad's leadership. She and Eric, her husband, grew the business, and he had a lot of knowledge on how to manage and grow a brand in the ethnic space. So they are extremely very important in my life. I call Eric for almost everything.
Wow, that is so cool.
So
now, did you seek them out? Did you guys meet organically? Because Like, how did you
we
get in touch with
did.
them?
Once I moved here, well, no, it was before I moved here, actually. We got connected. Someone connected us and said, you guys should know each other. You need to meet Mahisha. And that's how it happened. And then they became part of my life, you know. And I forgot who it was that connected us, but it's been so many years ago. And now, though, it's just seamless. I don't know what I would do without having that sounding board.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's so important. It's so important. Now, Mahisha, you've already built $1 million business with curls. That is such a great product. I was telling Sybil that I have your edge control. So I love it. But now I know that you have also pivoted to a CBD oil, and I got a chance to attend your launch here in New York City. And so can you tell us kind of like how you got into that, you know, what you want women to know about it? Because I learned so much even that night that I had no idea about until I was there. And I remember at the end you asked the women, how many people in the room use CBD oil? And like half the room raised their hands.
Which was shocking to me. It was very shocking because I didn't know as many people had been using it before it, you know, hit and became a big thing. But I got interested in it because my mother had a lot, and my mother had a lot of pain. She still has a lot of pain issues. She had lots of surgeries. I don't think I mentioned before, but she actually was a victim of domestic violence and was beat a lot. So she had permanent nerve damages in places. So she had a lot of surgeries and pain. And so I was looking for something to help her out. And that's how I stumbled upon CBD, because she had all these pain meds that she was prescribed, and some of them were highly addictive. And so we needed another option. So I had her test it out. And first she was like, I'm not going to use that because it's going to get me high. I'm like, Mom, I promise you it won't. It's not marijuana. It's CBD. And so I realized at that time the association with it was marijuana and that it had THC. And so we have to talk about the education about it, that it is totally filtered out. And we have a pure product that has 0 THC, so you won't get the effects of marijuana, but it actually helps with pain management, anxiety, depression, migraines. It helps with diabetic symptoms. Oh, and also seizures. Well, that was the first original discovery, that it reduced seizures in children significantly. And so a lot of kids take it. And again, the source is very important, because if you go to a gas station, you probably shouldn't get a CBD from a gas station. You got to know your source and you should get the pure, real deal. When I saw the list of benefits, I was like, I have to, give this a whirl. So my mom tried it and it worked. And my aunt, she's like 90 years old, again, heavy arthritis symptoms. She uses it, loves it. And I said, okay, so let me do some testing here, because I need to make sure that this was legit. And I did my own testing. I'm like, this is great. So I need to get into this, because this is a natural alternative that Big Pharma doesn't really want out there, And so when you see someone pushing to get something, you have to wonder why. There's usually an agenda.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. It's so now CBD infused products. So the benefit, can you talk to us a little bit about benefits that it'll appeal to our hair and to our skin, or some of the other topical?
Yeah, so the topical, there's a lot. Okay, so for topical, there are a lot of benefits. First of all, it can help prevent acne, reduce acne, inflammation in your body and your skin. Also, it helps to grow hair, it heals the scalp. It actually also for your body, if you have pain issues, it helps with pain management. Like for me, I had surgery recently, and I, again, posted this on my page. I was signed up to do a fashion show, and I wasn't all the way 100% better before the date, and I took myself off my pain meds and just started taking my CBD oil and, pain-free. So I love the pain management piece, which is important. That is really one of the big ones. Also, one thing that women also complain about, menstrual cramps. Oh, that it alleviates that, issues with the symptoms from menopause, including hot flashes, insomnia. I mean, it's just a long list. It's so amazing. It alleviates stress. Great.
So that sounds like
my mom is right. My mom is going to be listening to this, Mahisha, and my mom is going to be like your mom. She's going to say, "You had that woman over there talking about. Can you break down CBD oil for us? You did such a great job that night of kind of letting us know like what it is and how it's filtered, just so that people can become a little bit more educated about the product in general and your product.
Yeah, so I took a lot of time to source mine. I actually took a lot of trips back and forth to Colorado, and I had to actually go to the plant to see how they were doing this and what was going on, how they filtered, how they grew it. I want to see how they tested it. So I did my due diligence there because I want to have a great product. So there are ways that they isolate, they extract the oil from the hemp plant, and they isolate it out from the hemp plant and extract the oil, and then they also filter from there all of the THC. They filter it out that several times. Like they go through, my manufacturer, they go through 4 different cycles of filtering that oil that was extracted to remove the THC. So what's left behind in that oil that came from the hemp plant is only the medicinal benefits that come from that plant. Now, as you know, people have had known benefits of marijuana, right? But people don't want to smoke that. And so we don't, first of all, a lot of other things come with that. We don't want to be around, not able to work and just feeling out of place. So you still want the benefits. And so that's how we're able to get to that without the other psychedelic impact. And that's the most important piece, is making sure that it's zero. We're 0.0001% THC. So in essence, nothing. And so that is a very pure product. So that's how it's filtered, and that's how it's created. And then the testing happens. We test it thoroughly over and over again, and we have our certificate of analysis for every single batch to show the level of THC and what's in there. So it's a very simple process, but just a repetitive one of filter. You can break it all the way down until you get that nice pure oil. And it should be nice, thick, caramel colored almost in its natural state. If it looks like it, if it's clear, not good. If it's dark, probably something else is in there. So it should be a caramel, rich, creamy, not creamy, but rich, thick oil. And it should not have a strong taste to it. It should be really a smooth taste. Now we flavored ours. We have mint and we have orange, so it can soothe, the palate. And you put it under your tongue, 60 seconds, and then swallow and wait for 30 minutes, and you'll feel the effects of it.
Wow. Wow. You got me so curious.
I have to tell you. I love it. And I also want to honor that, part of, I guess, maintaining and building and keeping a business thriving is knowing when to innovate. And I'm hearing innovation that took place for you, and just kind of knowing when you knew that it was time. But how did you know that it was time for you to introduce a new product or even create somewhat of a pivot in your existing product model so you'd have something fresh to offer the market?
Well, so I have Urban Goddess, which I don't think I addressed that. Urban Goddess is a new brand that has the CBD oil, which are called tinctures, that you digest. And we're adding additional products that are topical as well under Urban Goddess. But under the Curls brand, we're adding a hair care line because, as I said earlier, it actually has a lot of great properties for hair care. So we have the Dope Hair Collection, which is launching next year, top of the year, all with products that use the CBD oil. So there are 2 different evolutions of the CBD line itself. We have the hair care, and then we have the actual Urban Goddess brand.
I love it.
Sybil, I don't know if you're thinking what I'm thinking.
What are you thinking?
I'm like, the great girlfriends are going to be, okay, so how are you doing all this? How are you managing your entire life, Mahisha? We have to know.
Yeah.
Because me and Sybil are both moms, both wives, and it's not easy. So do you have like some secrets, some things that you can share with the great girlfriends and just creating harmony between motherhood and, having a great marriage and having a business, and then still being inspired to launch new things with your business?
Well, I think I know that it takes a village. It takes the right partner. It takes planning. It takes discipline. It takes a lot of organization. But the most important thing I know 100% is definitely that my husband plays a big role in the success, a humongous role, because when I have to go on the road, like I'm about to go on the road, he is the one that is there to make sure not one ball drops with all these kids in this house. So from the drop-off, the pickups, the dinner, the practices, it's a lot. So he manages that. Now we had for a while when they were little, when they weren't in school, we had nannies, of course. And I would work from home, so I would be there with them, and I would work and then play and then work and have lunch with them and then work. And so I chopped my day up, but I was still there because remember I had the office in my garage, so I was able to be there. And then when I got an official office, I still primarily work from home because I wanted to be with my kids and they were young. And then when they went to school, then I would, went back to the office. But now that they're in school most of the day, there's still a lot to do before school and after school. So when they come home, the youngest is 8, and she gets out way too early, like it's 2 something. So when she goes, I'm still in the middle of my day. And so he actually starts her on her homework while I'm finishing my work. And like right now, there's chicken in, defrosting so I can make their favorite chicken later, but I've managed it with just a lot of organization. But the most important factor is the right partner. And I read a study that showed that, and Oprah said this too, that business owners that have a supportive spouse that is a part of their growth and a part of their success story will have a better result in their business. So their partner can help you or break you. If I had someone who wasn't willing to help me or wasn't willing to bend when I had to go somewhere, or who was I'm the man, I don't do this, you do that, I couldn't have done it.
Yeah. And Brandon and I know that. We know that personally.
Oh, absolutely. 1,000%. Way worse.
Supportive. Yeah, amazing husbands. And what you said is the glue is literally, it has to be your person, the right partner, the one that matches your flow, that understands the vision and wants to see the vision thrive. And I think that's beautiful to hear. And your children actually get information when they understand the leadership. They kind of fall into the flow of it. Is it safe to say your kids have learned to kind of follow suit in terms of what the style and the flow of the house would be?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. They understand. They've learned. They're really sharp kids. Like, they know more than that. They know that daddy's cheap and mommy's not. So don't ask daddy to take you to the store because you're probably going to get told no. But ask mama to take you to the store, you're going to probably get the toy. So they've learned a lot of things. They picked up that. They picked up a lot. So they're smart. They see the dynamic. But yeah, no, he's not cheap. He's frugal. Fabulously frugal.
Right.
And thank goodness, because you need that. You need it. I love it. Mahisha, one last question. What would you like your legacy to be?
Pioneering entrepreneur that was innovative, ahead of her time, and made a difference in those lives around her.
That's powerful. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So for those who are ready to shop and who are all in on the CBD products and Urban Goddess and want to learn more, where can they get in touch with you? Where can they buy products?
There's so much information and studies and data and information about the brand on my website. So urbangoddess.com, HERBN, like Nancy, goddess.com. And then follow us at Urban Goddess on all the social platforms, Instagram, etc. But if you're not sure, if you want to get educated and you want to see, I'm a little skeptical, I don't know about this CBD, go to the site and just pull up some of the data that we have there, and you'll be able to see for yourself.
I love it.
And what about your academy? They could go to your website for that?
So Black Girls Making Millions.
Your academy.
Yes, right. So forgot about that. So Curls, go to curls.biz or follow Curls on all social platforms. And for Black Girls Making Millions, Black Girls Making Millions Academy, and then also on Instagram. Now, we're sharing a lot there because that's where all of our ladies are really heavily, they're really on social, heavily active on social. So we're on social, we're sharing what we're doing, where we're going, tools, tips, etc. I do lives with the ladies as well, people who aren't able to come to any of the events. I go live and I actually do Mondays with Mahisha that I'm picking back up on the top of the new year. And what happens, I go live and I have people send me their product ahead of time. And then I look at it, look at the packaging. But we go live and I share it. I give information, I answer questions, but I also critique and almost like mentor. And then also as I'm live, people are chiming in with input and suggestions and comments and questions, and it really benefits the brand. So, and I usually do 5 at a time.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Wow, Mahisha, thank you so much for your time today.
You.
So much knowledge. I'm so grateful because I think the Great Girlfriends will walk away, one, understanding that it's possible. That's first and foremost. Yes. Whatever that it is possible. It will take work. It will take diligence and commitment and devotion, but it is possible. And having the right blueprint will allow you to sustain it. I'm hearing you say that. And I'm also hearing, the understanding of not doing it alone, in your partnership, making good decisions about the people that are alongside you, because they really can make or break the success of your vision, especially when it comes to your intimate or your romantic partner, your spouse, significant other. So that's so valuable because, relationships obviously is a huge conversation topic for us on our show. And, I think sometimes people think it's easy. It's not easy. It's just when it's congruent, when you have the right person, things become easier. But it doesn't mean it's easy. It's still a lot of work.
Right.
So
it's a lot of work.
Really,
absolutely.
Yeah. And you honed in on that. So thank you so much. We are so grateful. Great Girlfriends, definitely jump on to all of her portals, her websites, and grab some product and grab some for a Great Girlfriend too, because I think I'm kind of curious now. You got me wanting to stick around a bit. So.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, guys. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
We hope you enjoyed this week's episode of The Great Girlfriends.
Yes, if you enjoyed this episode, please share this with 3 of your great girlfriends.
Absolutely. And make sure you jump onto iTunes right now and leave your review. Let the world know how you feel about our 5-star show.
Absolutely. And we like to end our episodes by thanking our husbands.
Thank you, Kwaku.
Thank you, Mr. Rich Daniel.
And then we thank the minis. Thank you, Sam and Dylan.
And thank you to Miss Sky.
And thank you, Great Girlfriends, for trusting us as your go-to source for everything life, love, and laughter. Make sure you listen each Wednesday on iTunes, Stitcher, Podcast Bean, Podcast Republic, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and every other podcasting service.
Yes, and please check us out on our social. You can follow us on Instagram,
The Great Girlfriends,
on Twitter,
_GreatGFS,
on Facebook,
The Great Girlfriends,
and please do join our Facebook group with over 16,000 great girlfriends.
Yay!
And that is
The Great Girlfriends.
Awesome.
Make sure you post your questions online, share with your friends,
keep listening,
and keep being a great girlfriend. I'm Sybil.
I'm Brandis.
And we're signing off. Peace.